The need to maintain and renew our HDB towns is also linked to the issue of the end of lease. Now, we've made very clear from the outset that the HDB lease is 99 years. There's no doubt about that. 99 years is a long time. It covers 2 generations. The oldest HDB flat today is around 50 years, and the vast majority have more than 60 years remaining. So this is not an immediate issue at all. Yet some have already called for automatic lease extensions or for HDB lease top-ups by private developers. It will be easy for me to give you a politically expedient answer now and try to wave away the problem. But there are serious trade-offs and ramifications to consider. Take the issue of lease extension. It sounds easy to do, but it's not a straightforward matter. First, we should not assume everybody wants it. Second, as all of us who run town councils know, much more maintenance is needed for older flats. Imagine the flat beyond 99 years. And how much more maintenance is needed and how costly it will be for residents. More importantly, despite our best efforts at planning, we are still severely constrained by space in Singapore. If there's no more land to recycle for future public housing, then what will happen to our children and grandchildren? How will they have access to subsidized housing in the future? So this is a complex issue, and I'm glad many members who spoke about this recognize this. Several MPs, several members have offered suggestions, including Ms. Cheryl Chan and Mr. Alex Yam. Mr. Leon Pereira also spoke about this, and I look forward to the Workers' Party's suggestions on this matter because he said that the Workers' Party is studying this matter very seriously, and I look forward to receiving your suggestions as well. In fact, we welcome views on this matter from all parties and all Singaporeans. I recognize that it's a matter that Singaporeans care about, and we want to listen to your views and feedback. Ultimately, the government must grapple with these difficult questions, study the matter, and do the responsible thing. Our duty is not just to the current generation who already own homes, but also to the future generations, those not yet voting, those not yet born, those whose lives and future depend on us making the right decision now on their behalf. At the end of the day, we want to ensure every generation will be able to have an affordable and quality home in Singapore. Now, we still have time to do this work, as I emphasized earlier. But for now, what's important is that we do not speculate, we do not spread misinformation which can impact the market. And this is critical. In fact, recently there was speculation that the government would stop the use of CPF entirely for the purchase of HDB flats. It started from a media report highlighting a suggestion from an academic. He later clarified that the article did not fully reflect his views, yet the information continued to circulate online and through WhatsApp groups. Just earlier this week, a resident came to me, showed me the phone with the screenshot of the article and said, "Is the government going to stop the use of CPF?" So let me be very clear about this. We are not stopping the use of CPF for HDB purchase. Even for older flats, CPF can still be used, but under certain conditions to safeguard the retirement adequacy of home buyers. There has also been concern about the impact of lease expiry on HDB prices. But there is still value in older HDB flats, value which can be unlocked for retirement. You look at transaction data over the past year, real transaction data over the past year. An older 4-room flat with less than 60 years remaining would sell for around $300,000 median price, and a 5-room flat would sell for around $400,000. These are for non-mature estates. For flats in more popular locations, prices can be significantly higher, more than double the prices which I just mentioned earlier, more than double. So a flat that's 4-room with less than 60 years remaining can sell for more than $600,000. 5-room flat can sell for more than $800,000. Not pretend data, not theoretical data, transaction data over the past year. So the transacted price depends not just on the length of the remaining lease, clearly, but it also depends on many other attributes. Factors like location, the story height, the condition of the flat, these are all very relevant. Whatever the price you get from a sale of a flat today, the sales proceeds would be more than sufficient to purchase a smaller flat for retirement for those who are interested in right-sizing. For example, if you sell a flat now, a 4 or 5 room, you can purchase a 2-room flexi flat from HDB with a 40-year lease for around $100,000, or a 3-room resale flat for around $250,000 depending on location. And people are doing that. I'll give you an actual example that happened recently. Mr. Abdul Aziz, who is 67 years old, originally owned a 3-room flat in Marsiling with around 60 years of lease remaining. He decided to right-size to a studio apartment in Kampong Admiralty with a 30-year lease. He sold his 3-room flat for $250,000, purchased the studio apartment for just over $100,000. So he has more than $140,000 left in cash and CPF proceeds to supplement his retirement savings. For those who prefer to stay in the same place, there's also the lease buyback scheme, where you sell part of the remaining lease to HDB, or the option of renting out a bedroom. So the monetization schemes we have are in place and they are working. And we will continue to review and enhance these schemes and help our elderly unlock the value of their flats for retirement. Buying and selling a property can be a complex undertaking, and it's easy to get carried away by market sentiments. Just not too long ago, there were people speculating in older HDB flats, hoping to get SIRS benefits, and not explicitly saying that they were doing that. Now the reverse has happened, and there are people overly anxious about how much their older flats can fetch in the resale market. So my advice to Singaporeans is this: don't buy or sell based on speculative information. Look at the facts, and if you are in the market for a home, do your homework carefully and choose something that fits your needs. We will make the resale market work better for potential buyers and sellers. In fact, I was just reminded of this in a recent MPS. One resident came to see me to seek help for more time to sell their flat because they couldn't get the price that they were looking for. Right after that, another resident came and said, I need a flat urgently. Please give me a direct allocation of a flat from HDB. I told her, I can't do that. You've got to ballot. But if you want a flat so urgent, so urgently, why don't you go to the resale market? And she immediately said, resale market, too expensive. So on one hand, sellers find it hard to sell. On the other hand, buyers are saying price is still too high. So we need to find better ways to match buyers and sellers in the HDB market. We've started with the HDB resale portal, which has simplified and speeded up the resale transaction process. And we will continue to do more. We will provide more information on the available flats in the market, be it new flats or resale flats, so that we can help buyers and sellers transact more smoothly, and we can help Singaporeans make more informed housing decisions that best suit their needs. Besides the public housing market, we are also watching the private housing market. The property market, like any other asset market, will go through ups and downs. The government cannot control or fix prices, but neither do we take a completely hands-off approach. We recognize that there may be over-borrowing in a very low interest rate environment, that sharp price changes that run ahead of fundamentals can be destabilizing to the broader economy. And so we have put in place various measures over the years. We will continue to monitor the market trends closely and make use of various policy levers to ensure a stable and sustainable property market. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Singapore is a nation of homeowners, so it's understandable why housing remains a top concern for all our people. My assurance is that the government will continue to provide affordable and quality homes for all Singaporeans, both now and into the future. We will make sure that in every town we have a range of housing and amenities for all ages, more shared spaces for all to enjoy, and a place where every Singaporean feels that they belong. The urban transformation plans I've shared are significant in scale and require considerable fiscal resources. Mr. Pritam Singh said earlier in the debate that the current government has more financial resources than previous generations of PAP leaders. But he forgot to mention that our fiscal commitments and spending are also at their highest ever levels. Singaporeans today are being provided with more services and support than before. For now, we are just able to meet all of our spending needs with current resources. But without additional revenues, how are we to meet the growing healthcare needs, as well as the many other proposals that various people, including the Workers' Party, have been asking for? Both Mr. Pritam Singh and Mr. Leon Pereira have reiterated the call to change the rules on the use of reserves so that we can draw more from the reserves. Mr. Leon Pereira said that this was not just a technical issue, but a deep philosophical issue. And I agree with him. But the rules were discussed at length, debated in this House thoroughly, so that we can find the right balance between present and future generations, and we enshrine the rules in our Constitution. And this was done not too long ago. And what does it say about us and our mindsets and our attitudes if the minute we need the money, the first thing we do is to relax the rules? Surely that will be ill-disciplined, imprudent, and unwise. This goes back to the issue of responsible governance. Look at the challenges that other first world democracies face. Their politics have become more fractured, chaotic, and unpredictable. And one common thread across these countries is that they are in fiscal difficulties. Why? Because the politicians pander to the electorate, they spend more than they collect in taxes, and run up unfunded obligations and debt. Ultimately, the ones who suffer are the citizens, especially the most vulnerable. Singapore is in a different position today. Our fiscal position is strong. But if we succumb to temptation to change the rules, to chip away at our reserves, we run the very real risk of compromising the long-term health of our nation. That is not the Singaporean way. Our Singaporean way is to look ahead and prepare for the future responsibly. We level with our people so everyone knows what to expect and what hard choices we need to take. We work to serve the interest of all Singaporeans, not just for 1 or 2 electoral cycles, but over the long term. That's what we have been doing and will continue to do.